Impossible! How? This isn't over!
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to share with you guys my league starter for 3.26 Secrets of the Atlas, which is my lightning tendrils of Escalation Totem Hierophant. Without further ado, let's begin with the build intro. Okay, so build intro. Okay, I'll just tell you guys real quick because I already covered this in my week 1 update. Basically, the skill that we're using for our totem build is lightning tendrils of escalation. The reason for that is simple. This skill just have very big numbers, whether in regards to cast time, effectiveness of added damage, and even radius. It's just big and strong, simple as that. So this is the skill that we'll be using. And another reason it is good for 3.26 is because with the addition of mercenary for this league, the best damage type that you can buff with all the new available resources will be lightning damage. So yeah, it matches pretty well with the I would say what's good for this league. And then we'll be using another new unique that's introduced this league, which is the Archon's Tool. Okay, so what this belt does is that it gives your summon skitterbot aura, as well as it gives your summon skitterbot aura the effect of chill and shock, which is the traditional elemental element that it inflicts, and also a third skitterbot that inflicts shock. Where it says here, summon skitterbot, also summon a scorching skitterbot. And then it gives us a few beneficial stats that we really want, which is number 1, Dex and Intelligence, which is always nice for Hierophant because it's kind of hard to get dexterity on that side of the tree. And then increase mana reservation of efficiency of skill up to 20%. This is huge. Like even Replica Dragonfang only give up to 10. So yeah, on the belt slot alone, this is very big increased reservation of efficiency, and it applies to all of your aura reserve, not just your summon skitterbot. And then it also gives increased effect of non-damaging element inflicted by summon skitterbots, which means that the chill, scorch, and shock inflicted by the skitterbot is further increased. The downside of this belt is that summon skitterbot auras affect you as well as enemies, and because the aura is an aura that inflicts elemental ailment, which is chill, scorch, and shock, we can fully mitigate this by using by getting elemental ailment immunity on our own. And for this particular build, we're getting it from Purity of Elements, which is Purity of Element. You and nearby allies are immune to all elemental ailment. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's just a normal spellcaster totem build. Okay, first up is the pros and cons of the build, and as usual, I'm just going to go over this inside the notes section in my POB that I've already written. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, first of all is pros and cons. Okay, wait, let me go just a heads up first. If you want to know when you want to transition to this build, I would recommend only to do it based on the following notes. Okay, for leveling, I recommend to level during early game with Orb of Storms plus a lightning spell of your choice. So this means that you can use basically whatever you want. Was I using lightning tendrils? I think I was using lightning tendrils paired together with Orb of Storms, and because lightning tendrils is a spell that's available from level 1, you can even use the transfigured version, which is the lightning tendrils of escalation straight away. I mean, obviously that's not an option that's available at league start, but if it's your second or third character, I'm pretty sure you can get one off the market, provided it's not SSF. And the recommended time to fully transition to totem build is number 1 after first Ascendancy, where you've allocated Pursuit of Faith for +1 maximum number of summon totems, and you've passed to Ancestral Bond for another +1 to maximum number of summon totems, giving you 3 maximum totems. Anyway, okay, pros and cons, sorry. We kinda diverted for a bit. Pros and cons. Pros, totem gameplay. So everything that comes good together with totem gameplay is part of the pros, where you have good uptime of your DPS. You can play in a fire and forget style of gameplay, where you just summon, debuff, and then just focus on evading enemies. And you can, what else? You can mitigate a lot of negative effect from map modifiers and even from the enemy themselves. Lots and lots of good things with totem gameplay. It has very fast clear speed for totem build. Again, good DPS uptime. I already covered this in totem gameplay. Great survivability. This is because even from our stats alone, it's kind of decent. And when we pair that together with you being able to just run around while your totem do the work, you really won't be dying that much compared to some other build. It's cheap to start and gear, and does not require any expensive unique, except maybe a 6-link Cloak of Flame, but that one can be pushed behind. It's not really required for this build. And finally, you can run many map mods. This is linked together back to the totem gameplay that I said just now. For the cons, okay, there's an issue with totem gameplay where I believe that the AOE of the lightning tendril is bigger than the AOE of your what do you call it? Your aggro range, because your AOE, the lightning tendril is a skill that grows in AOE over time. After 2 seconds only you reach your maximum AOE, and your totem do not really cast the spell if the enemy is the totem cannot reach the enemy at 0 stage of the casting time at the smallest AOE. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that's intended behavior or what, but I believe that's the case. And then there's also the issue where you don't really sometimes it's kind of hard to understand whereby how do you actually want to really scale the build, because sometimes when it says you, when it comes to totem build, it's not really you, what things like that. And finally, the defense is unique dependent, because you can say that most of the physical damage mitigation, which is what kill most build, comes from Cloak of Flame, and because it's a unique body armor, if you're at league start, it can be kinda hard to get. Okay, next up is the offensive and defensive layers of the build. Okay, first is Archon's Tool Belt plus Kitterbots plus Unbound Ailment. I already covered this inside the build intro. It's a new tech only available in 3.26. So what it does is it inflicts permanent Scorch, Shock and Chill. I put a figure 20% plus, 30% plus and 20% plus chill, because your increased effect of non-damaging ailment first of all has a roll on your belt, and also based on your unbound ailment, which you can later upgrade into awakened unbound ailment. And the final level of awakened unbound ailment gives a lot of increased effect. So your actual result may vary, but I'm pretty sure even at low investment you can reliably get 20%, 30% and 20% ailment, Scorch, Shock and Chill. And then second offensive layer is Totem DPS consistency. Again, already mentioned just now, the DPS does not drop when the player character is evading, which is something that's mostly not available in soft attack build. And then finally, damage tech via Guardian Blazing Aura with with Respector plus Animate Guardian. Okay, so there's two things going on here. First up is Guardian's Blessing, which we can use in our setup using paired together with Dark Marionette, which reconstruct itself. So what Guardian Blessing does is okay, it must support both a skill that creates a minion which can be damaged and an aura skill where it says minion from at the bottom line there, minion from supported skill take 8% of their life and energy shield as physical damage per second when you have that aura active. So it will almost always kill your minion unless you invested a lot in it. But if you use Dark Marionette, which respawn itself, it's basically almost like a free aura that you only need to turn on back once in a while if your Dark Marionette dies together, because Respector gives you two maximum limit of Spectre at level I can't remember which level, but at least at level 20 it gives 2 maximum Spectre as long as one of your Marionette is still alive. When the other one dies, your Guardian Blessing aura will still be active. And then finally, Animate Guardian. Okay, Animate Guardian has always been available in PoE. It's just that in 3.26, your Animate Guardian no longer drops any item on death. That's built in inside the gem now, and it makes it easier and less of a hassle to gear it up with items that can you use to buff your own personal damage. For example, Kingmaker. I'll cover this later down the line further in the build guide. Anyway, defensive layers, we have Endurance Charge plus face damage taken as fire plus elemental immunity. Okay, we have plus 4 Endurance Charge from Ascendancy, from the Hierophant Ascendancy. Where is it? Conviction of Power. And then plus 1 Endurance Charge from taking Endurance Note in a tree for plus 1 maximum. And then we use a plus 1 minimum Endurance Charge on Ring, which is a crafted, which is a benchcraft modifier, so that it turns into our plus 4 turns into plus 5. And then face damage taken as fire is from our chest, Cloak of Flames. And then finally elemental immunity from Pretty of Elements. Okay. Second layer is we have high block and high life regen. For example, this build currently is sitting at 65% block chance and 59% spell block chance. This is true block, by the way, not glancing blows. And then high life regen. These are the sources. You can go through it from the passive tree and the gear section. And then high life regen. We have the build currently sits at 2000 life regen over a total life of 4400. So that's like almost 50% of our life regenerated per second. And then finally, Totem playstyle plus Animate Guardian debuff. Well, basically I already covered this. And Animate Guardian, you can also make your Guardian holds things like Kingmaker that also provides plus 10 fortification, which is less damage taken. Okay, next up is the Mastery, Ascendancy, and etc. Okay. Going to go over this real quick. Okay, important Mastery, we have 2 Totem Mastery, which is Totem Taunt the enemy like 1 second after it's being summoned. And then another important Mastery is 5% of damage from hits is taken from your nearest totem life before you. Then number 2, Block Mastery, where we have plus chance to block from our base shield block chance, and finally Life Mastery for increased maximum life. This one gives like 8% block chance from our current shield that we're holding, and then Life Mastery for, well, giving us life rule from Cloak of Flames that do not have any life modifier. Okay, Ascendancy, okay. We're taking, is it number 1 is Pursuit of Faith for plus 1 maximum number of summon totem. Recommend again, as I mentioned earlier in the build guide, I recommend only transitioning to a full totem build after you get Pursuit of Faith. And then second Ascendancy, I recommend Conviction of Power. For that, maximum +4 maximum and minimum endurance charge. It gives you a nice bit of defense. And then Ritual of Awakening for your third Ascendancy for damage and regeneration. And then finally Arcane Blessing for your last Ascendancy, just for even more damage. The build do not really need it's not really in need of damage, that's why I put it Arcane Blessing as the last choice. For Bandits, just kill all for that extra point. For Pantheon, Soul of Brine King for stun avoidance, and Glislatha for life loss. Okay, next up we'll move to the gem setup for the build. And our main skill, again, we'll be using Lightning Tendrils of Escalation, linked to Spell Totem. And then Elemental Focus, Critical Strike, Critical Damage, Infused Channeling. So this will be the support gem in order of importance. Basically, Lightning Tendrils of Escalation itself is already a complete spell. Everything else is just more damage. And also you can get quality on Lightning Tendrils to improve clear, but the skill itself is not really in need of that, because we're also taking some early passive nodes for area of effect. And then Animate Guardian will be linking it to Mitchell and Minion Life. So the gear section will be covered in the gear section. The gear for Animate Guardian will be covered in the gear section down below. And then Guardian Blessing Aura, we use Respector plus Mitchell plus Guardian Blessing plus Zealotry or Wrath. Okay, so I already explained it inside the build guide earlier in the offensive layers. So you can just read what I wrote if you're still not clear on how to use it, and I'm pretty sure the wiki itself will provide you some info on how to use it, because it's not really a niche setup. Something important that you have to take note is you have to keep your Guardian Blessing at level 1 to minimize the damage over time effect. And then why I say you can use either Zealotry or Wrath, this is because the build will be using Watcher's Eye, so you can use either of the two. Wrath is only slightly stronger than Zealotry, but really not by much. If, let's say for example, Wrath Watcher's Eye mod is expensive, you can go for Zealotry if you want. Okay, utility, we're using Righteous Fire of Arcane Division, Conductivity, and Flame Dash. None of these are linked, so you can throw them in whatever empty slot that your build have. Righteous Fire of Arcane Division gives you more cast speed, which is at the cost of damage over time effect based on your mana. And since we have like a huge number of life regen, that's pretty much free for our build. Conductivity is something we self-cast on enemy for decreasing their lightning resistance, and Flame Dash for movement skill. Cast when damage taken, we're using Immortal Call and Purifying Flame. So just a standard guard skill setup. Purifying Flame I just like to use because it gives life regen from Consecrated Ground. Sorry, excuse me. And then finally Aura. We're running Vitality, Purity of Element, Tempest Shield, and Summon Skitterbob plus Unbound Ailment. So again, it's not linked to anything, so you can just play around with where you want to slot it. Vitality is for life regen, Purity of Element for resistance and elemental element immunity, very important to counter the effect of the Skitterbob belt. And then finally Tempest Shield for spell block, and Summon Skitterbob plus Unbound Ailment already covered. Okay. One thing to note is make sure you don't link Unbound Ailment to Tempest Shield, because it will raise the reservation of Tempest Shield unnecessarily, because Tempest Shield also provide something related to shock, so not really something you want linked together, because you're getting all your ailment from just these two. And also before you use Tempest Shield during the early game, you can use Clarity instead, because it gives a lot of the much needed mana regeneration, especially if you don't have the Ascendancy Ritual of Awakening for that mana regeneration per second. Okay, now we're getting to the final part of the build, which will be the gears and explanation. I'm going to go over this really quick because I think the build guide is getting kind of long. Anyway, for our weapon, we want to use a wand or scepter, which rolls basically spellcaster roll. So crit, cast speed, damage, and then +1 level to lightning or spell skill gem is great. And then not really much to be explained. And then for our offhand, for leveling, we want to use another set of wand or scepter for more damage. But for the end game, we want to use a rare shaper shield that can roll +1 number of maximum totem. And for the other mod that you want to use is increase chance to block, plus life, plus regen. And then in 3.26, GGG introduced Shaper's Exalted Orb, where it can be used to deterministically add Shaper totem mods if only prefix slot is open, because that's the only prefix mod, Shaper prefix mod that's available on Shield. So as long as your suffixes are filled, just use that Shaper's Exalted Orb, which is I think quite cheap also. And then for helmet, we're using rare plus double influence rare. When I say double influence, I'm referring to Searing Exarch plus Eater of Worlds influence. So the mod that we want to roll are life plus life regen plus resistance. Implicit, we want to roll fist taken as fire plus cast speed. For body armor, we want to use for the end game is Cloak of Flames, but during early game you can use Tabula and also upgrade it to Corrupted Tabula for +2 AoE. You can decide when you want to change to Cloak of Flames or not from the Corrupted Tabula, because +2 AoE gives like 20% more damage to the build at any level, at any stage of progression. But Cloak of Flames gives a lot of defenses from converting all that physical damage to fire, and basically you balance it out with what you want, more defense or more offense. And then for endgame, of course, you can get a corrupted Cloak of Flames for +2 AoE to combine the best of both worlds. And then gloves, rare, double influence rare. Mod that we want, life plus life regenerate, percentage life regenerate, plus flat life regen, plus resistance. Okay, there's two mods that is available where the percentage life regeneration rate, the full name is increased life regeneration rate. This thing is more important than flat life regen because it buffs you. It's basically a more multiplier for an increased multiplier for your life regen, which is not readily available. So that increase is like similar to a more multiplier. And then implicit, we want chance to unnerve plus inflict lightning exposure on hit. For the boots, rare again, rare, double influence rare. We want life, movement speed, percentage life regen, and resistance. The best implicit that you want, again, another life regen rate, and then damage per endurance charge. For belt, Archon's tool, I already covered this like few times for the build. Basically, it gives you Dex Intelligence, Mana Reservation Efficiency, and Skitterbot's Ailment. So not really going to go deep into that. For the rings, endgame you want Taming plus Rare Ring. For leveling, just use whatever you want. I like to use Kikazaru, so I included this in the build because Kikazaru is like basically a free Vitality Aura on a ring that scales with your level. So yeah, I don't know, I just really like to use it. Taming for resistance and damage. And then for the rare ring, you want to roll life, cast speed, resistance, and very important, you want to have a crafted minimum endurance charge, because when you pair it together with the endurance node on the tree, it turns your initial +4 endurance charge into +5, persistent +5. You need to combo it together with the ring crafted modifier. For amulet, we want to take a replica Dragonfang's Flight that gives plus level to lightning tendrils. You want to have high roll on reservation efficiency and lowered attribute requirement also. The anointment that we want to take will be as the mountain for that block chance. And then jewels. First up is Militant Faith under High Templar Dominus for inner conviction, which will be put in this particular location. You want to get the modifier that rolls damage, which will be the ones that available will be either channeling skill, elemental damage, or totem damage, I think. And make sure none of your allocated notable will change to that Militant Faith version, like this one, Thunderous Devotion. And we want to use that High Templar Dominus to take this keystone that change Hexmaster into Inner Conviction for more spell damage. Then for Chase Eye, we want to take Vitality mod for increased life recovery rate, and then one with either Wrath or Zealotry damage mod. This is why I told earlier that you can choose the Guardian's Blessing Aura to either use Wrath or Zealotry. This is based on what Watcher's Eye you get or you can find that's within your budget. So yeah, just use whichever one you want. And then Replica Reckless Defense for block chance. For large cluster jewel, we want to take lightning for damage and basically just roll most whatever notable that you want, because most just give more damage. The important one here is medium cluster jewel with totem damage that gives ancestral guidance. Action speed cannot be modified below base value. This prevents your totem from being stunned, like the Juggernaut. And then totem regenerate life, which is always welcome. And then Sleepless Sentry for onslaught if you summon totem recently. And the rest you can just fill with life and crit multi jewel. Okay, I've got life plus crit multi jewel. Okay, for Animate Guardian, this is basically just a standard setup for Animate Guardian. I'm pretty sure a lot of other build guide already covered it, or you can just go through the other people's guide. I'm not going to go much into it. And then for mercenary, this is something that's strictly only available for 3.26 at the moment. Not sure if it's going to go core yet, but it makes it so that there are a few things that is newly available to Path of Exile, where previously Animate Guardian can only have weapon, helmet, glove, boots and body slot, but for mercenary they can equip jewelry also. So the thing that we want to use for our jewelry, Amulet Pertilsto, which gives allies hit is lucky. This is a huge buff for lightning damage. Belt, Calm's Binding, which gives nearby enemy deals physical damage as fire damage, so further mitigation on top of our Cloak of Flames. Ring, Call of the Void, such that every hit can chill, and then enemy deal less damage based on their chill effect. For body armor, especially for this league, you can use Doriani's Prototype, which reduces the resistances of nearby enemy based on your mercenaries lightning resistant. And because mercenary is kinda like almost immortal, there's pretty much no downside of using Doriani's Prototype. Just a heads up though, I'm not really using Doriani's Prototype at the moment, and the build is already sitting at 41 million DPS. It's just that I think it's kinda unethical to be utilizing it. Of course, later down the line, I might be thinking of upgrading my mercenary to use Doriani Prototype, but I just want to show you how the build basically still can function without comboing the Doriani's Prototype with our lightning damage at the moment. But it's an option that's open if you want to go really endgame. Make sure to apply this in the custom modifiers configuration here for whatever gear that you're applying to your mercenary and Animate Guardian. And then finally for Flask, we have Bleed Life Flask, Quicksilver Flask, Diamond Flask, Ruby Flask. The prefixes that you want will be gain charges on hit for these three utility flasks. And then the suffixes you want: percentage life regen, reduce curse effect, and crit chance. And finally, the last slot will be Bottle Faith, which is the best DPS flask, but it's also a flexible slot, so you can use whatever you want. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Lightning Tendrils of Escalation Totem Hierophant. I'm not really going to cover much for the passive skill tree, because it's pretty much self-explanatory. I'm not really doing anything weird with the passive tree at the moment. The only important part that maybe I need to highlight will be this node and this AoE node. These two node will be kinda important for the build, but otherwise, yeah, I don't think there's anything weird about the build at all. And as usual, if you have any question that you'd like me to clarify, feel free to post it in the comment section down below, and I'll answer it to the best of my ability. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much. Bye.